Hello, friend. Welcome to another episode of the Mount Rushmore of Everything. Today we are tackling Egyptian gods, Egyptian deities. First one, that for me is probably the only one that I would consider non-negotiable. There's maybe two I would consider, but this one is definitely non-negotiable for me. It is the god of the sun, my personal favorite.
Is your favorite?
Yeah.
Huh.
It is Ra.
Okay, yeah. I haven't decided if I have two or three non-negotiable, but
Okay.
in my list, yeah, there is Ra.
Now this is hard to measure, but I thought that Ra was at least probably top two for most famous name, and if not, it's easily still in that four for like recognizable name, which is worth, I think, a decent amount of points in this Mount Rushmore. The other thing is, as far as importance, if you look up the most important Egyptian gods, he is always near the top. Bringer of life, sun god, right? Order, kind, sky. It was the creator god, right? So that's worth mega points. Not necessarily, but shows some importance. And basically was just the ruler of the created world, as well as one of the most powerful. And then the 5th dynasty, almost every ruler was symbolically considered a son of Ra. Nice little touch to add to like, oh yeah, he's important.
We'll talk about other gods here and there, but there are a lot of equivalents to what Ra is for Egypt that I can think of.
Sure.
Maybe not necessarily the god of the sun, but in Aztec culture, in Greek culture, there's always this one main or top
For sure.
father god.
Indeed. Ra
Which-
actually created man from tears and sweat. So there's an interesting fact. Tears and sweat of Ra. Welcome, tears and sweat of Ra.
AKA fellow humans.
Fellow humans, yes.
Cool.
What else is on your list?
All right, so I'm
We
gonna
agree
start.
on Ra.
I'm gonna start since we agree on that one. I'm gonna start with Osiris, the god of death. They seem to have a fascination with death. And
Most cultures do, but yes.
right. However,
The mummification brings us to the next level, for sure.
yes, and not just that, but the pyramids that they were tombs.
Yeah. Some of the
So-
biggest buildings of the ancient world.
I mean, they were
were
preparing
just
more
for a dead guy.
for the afterlife than they spent all of their life preparing for
The afterlife.
the
for sure.
afterlife. And then their servants, I wonder if it was by choice, but I'm assuming that many of them by choice, they had this reverence to the work of preparing for the afterlife for the king.
Yeah.
Comparing it to Ra, I mean, he didn't have power of creating, but he had all the power to decreate or destroy.
Sure. The tendency in ancient gods is for there to be the like sky and or sun king god kind of thing.
Day
Just
or
the Ra
night.
figure. And then there's always that like god of the dead who's usually pretty important. Some cultures is less important than others, but I actually agree. Osiris is on mine. Symbolized death, resurrection, and cycle of Nile floods that Egypt relied on for agricultural fertility. Next one. This is one I considered to be borderline non-negotiable. In my opinion, is possibly the most iconic of all the gods.
I know which one you're going to talk about.
It is one that just the
has to
average
be there.
kid just loves
That's
this
what
god.
comes to your
It's
mind when
always-
you think of Egyptian
Yeah, it's always
mythology.
represented in this like dark, cool way,
Yeah.
and that is the great. And by the great, interestingly, not necessarily that great. Easily the most minor god on my list, and that is Anubis.
I agree. Totally agree. Anubis. Cool name, too.
Cool name, yes, and it looks awesome.
And it's
Black
just-
jackal head, it's sweet.
Yeah, like you said, maybe not as important as the others.
Yeah,
However, he's got the looks.
yeah.
He's like,
super iconic.
you know, like if there was a team of gods, they would send him to the front. Look at you.
Oh
you
yeah,
started that,
yeah.
you know?
It's hard to like look this up or whatever. I don't even think there was a ranker for favorite Egyptian gods, although I don't remember if I looked. But if I were to guess,
I found.
was he number one?
No, actually, it was Ra.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's probably Ra and him, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I was gonna say. I feel like the clear top two and iconic and well known in modern society, it's got to be those two.
Yeah.
by a wide margin. I would say a lot more people could name those two and no other ones than not, probably. Even Osiris, even though I think he is very iconic to this day, I think that's where you start to have the cutoff between those of us who at some point were like, ooh, Egyptian history and Egyptian gods and stuff, that was cool. And then normal people that just learned whatever history class taught them. Those people would still know about Ra and Anubis, I think. Osiris maybe not, but Osiris is so important to their culture and still is iconic. Just Anubis and Ra, that next level of like, just everybody knows.
But however, it was more, like in the actual mythology, it was more Anubis and Osiris.
That work together.
That they worked together and they were associated together.
Yeah, because they're both afterlife driven. Because Anubis was technically just for mummifying and guiding souls into the afterlife, which is interesting. Like, he's literally a minor god under Osiris.
Yeah, but even more famous than Osiris.
Yes, which is hilarious.
Funny. That's just so funny.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because he was at the gate. I mean, every time you go through a gate, they would have there the big dogs there. Literally the big dogs.
Yeah.
All right, so we're
three for three. So you get to say your last one, and we will see if we agree.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to change my last one.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so would you say that this was one of those that, like, has three pretty clear ones, and then the fourth was... Okay, I agree.
Yeah. I'm just last minute changing it, I think. Well, we'll talk about it later, but...
In the snubs video.
Yeah.
If you've been enjoying this content so far, drop a like, subscribe, click that little notification bell so you know when the next videos come out, because we talk about this awesome concept of Mount Rushmore of everything every single week. So if you like this, you're probably going to like our other stuff.
Here's my fourth one.
Which you have no confidence in based on your face.
No, I do. I'm just going to... I'm running through my head why. I'm going to go with Isis.
We are 4 for 4, my friend.
Oh, no way.
We are 4 for 4. Goddess of motherhood and wifehood,
Yeah.
which is another common trend to be important. And the other part for me is, I would say, clearly the most famous Egyptian goddess. Whereas there's some argument, most famous Egyptian god, I would say it's between Ra and Anubis for sure, but like there's some argument there. Isis to me was a clear, like her and everybody else. Wife of Osiris, for what it's worth, brought him back from the dead. And then one of the last goddesses to still be worshipped, which I thought was worth some bonus points. So her legacy lasted for a long time.
Yeah.
So we are 4 for 4. Whenever we're 4 for 4, it's like, okay,
Right.
we probably have
But
good
then
choices.
again,
There's a good chance we nailed it.
The choices were not as many anyway.
No, I will talk about it in the snubs
You
video.
can dig
but I
and you can find a lot more, but as far as what would
I
be...
agree. Yeah, there's maybe 4 more names that I thought were like really in the running, and then there's a steep drop off of like, no, this is
who?
Clearly, exactly.
Like there are some names like...
Yeah, like I've never seen this before, and that's even like again, when I was a kid, I loved Egyptian stuff. Like I learned so much about that. So if even I don't recognize the name of the god, I'm like,
yeah, no.
I mean, it's been a while since I was 8, but like I remember some of this other stuff, and I don't remember that. Let us know what you think.
There you have it.
Tell us in the comments what you think. Hope you enjoyed this video. We appreciate every single watch. We appreciate every single like, subscribe, and every single time that you guys decide to spend time with us. And we will talk to you next time. Yeah, but still, the teacher would look at it and be like, Isis? Yeah. And then they'd start to be worried, sweat a little bit. Yeah. Parent-teacher conferences. So your child's names become an issue. We're in history class, modern history.
Yeah.
The children have started throwing pencils at your daughter.